Welcome back again to JOSE on Boxing. Dalton Smith knocks out JOSE Zepeda in 5 rounds. And he does it with a single body punch. A big, to the pit of the stomach, right hand. He stepped in, put maximum weight behind it. And that was the end of that. Zepeda just couldn't get up. There was a delayed reaction. He took a knee. He was on all fours, I think. He just couldn't get up. It was a brilliant body punch anyway. I mean, I didn't expect him to get up, but yeah, I mean, no one's done this to JOSE Zepeda before. Zepeda, of course, has seen better days, but sometimes it's the manner in which you get your work done, as I always say. But yeah, okay, I'm going to give Dalton Smith benefit of the doubt. This was a very good performance, but not for the first 2 rounds. For the first 2 rounds, Smith looked a bit nervous, and he actually said he was shitting himself when he came out. On the ramp to the Arctic Monkeys, no less. Great song, by the way. Yeah, and he sort of walked to the ring. It took him a couple of rounds. I thought, is he nervous? Is he just having a look? Is the southpaw, Zepeda's southpaw stance, giving him problems? I didn't really know. I mean, I know Smith has faced southpaws before, so I didn't think it was the left-hander stance, but it did take him a couple of rounds, and I gave the first 2 rounds to Zepeda, who was landing some very sharp punches and using his feet very well, controlling the range. And Smith looked, like I was beginning to think, is the occasion getting to him? He's from Sheffield. This was in the Sheffield arena. Sometimes fighters, it can get to them. Maybe he was overeager, wanting to look really good. Then in the 3rd round, he suddenly seemed to find his timing, and the 3rd round was close, but you could tell there was a kind of a slight change, and Zepeda suddenly was a little bit less reluctant to go forward. He'd been very, very much on the front foot in the 1st round, and pretty much in the 2nd round as well. And he was doing very, very well and landing some nice single shots. And then Smith in the 3rd round, he started to land a little bit. Some good individual shots, but there was a change of rhythm, I suppose. Maybe it was a case of the distance being that there was a change of feeling in it with regard to the distance, as if Smith was suddenly he suddenly found his rhythm, he's found his timing, and he was able to control the distance a bit more. And he did land a few punches on Zepeda that seemed to make Zepeda a little bit more reticent to go forward, fire his own punches. And certainly in the 4th round, that escalated, because suddenly Smith was looking far more relaxed, far more confident. And the southpaw thing wasn't bothering him at all. And it kind of settled into the fight. And suddenly Zepeda was the one looking a little bit cautious, a little bit unsteady, a little bit sort of mentally concerned. And I thought the 4th round for Smith was very, very impressive. He really was beginning to land, put some meat on his punch as well as land. Whereas Zepeda looked a lot more reluctant to let his hands go. And then in the 5th round, I mean, it was kind of, I thought, okay, this is developing into a nice little fight. The first 2 rounds, Zepeda won them, and Smith has come back and answered by winning the next 2 rounds. It's now up to Zepeda to say, okay, I've got something for you. I'm coming back at you. Was the pendulum going to swing the other way? It was up to Zepeda to sort of stop the momentum that Smith was beginning to find himself settling into. But he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it because, quite simply, even though for the first, I think it was about a minute and a half into the round that the knockout blow landed. Again, I thought Smith was looking the better of the 2 fighters, but it really did come out of the blue. He sort of stepped in, Smith did, and banged. I mean, he sort of punched through the target right in the pit of the stomach. It was one of those punches where it went so far into the stomach, you could almost sort of imagine it, hitting Zepeda's spine. He punched clean through the target, and Zepeda again. There was that delayed reaction. and then he went down. He took a knee. I thought he took a knee, but had enough about him to get up. But no. I think once he'd gone down, he just could not get up again, and obviously he couldn't. And his head was down, and he kind of knew the game was up, I think. And so a fantastic win for Dalton Smith. He wants Adam Azim next. This was for the WBC Super Lightweight title, Silver Super Lightweight title, sorry. Gets you a ranking. It was a vacant belt, gets you a ranking. It gives you the inside track, I suppose, to the full fat WBC Super Lightweight belt. But he did say, I want Adam Azim for the EBU first. And of course, Eddie Hearn and to a lesser extent Dalton Smith are sort of goading Azim and Boxer and Ben Shalom, saying, you're going to give the belt up, aren't you? But bearing in mind that Smith has already had the British and the Commonwealth, the EBU, why not complete the collection? I always approve of that way of doing things. I think Dalton Smith, he's now 16 wins with 12 KOs, no draws and no defeats. So Zepeda drops to 37. He's got 37 wins, 28 KOs, 5 losses with 3 by stoppage. He's lost his last 3 out of 4. Maybe it's time to call it a day now. I mean, he is 34. He did say he was going to quit if he lost this one. But for those first 2 rounds, I was thinking he's got something left. And he did appear to have something left, maybe just not at world level, not over the long distance anyway. And this was a 12-rounder. And maybe the injuries and the miles on the clock have just taken it out of him. But, he had 3 world title shots. He didn't win any of them, but he fought very good men. And, he was involved in some fantastic fights, beat some good men as well. So maybe it's time for him to walk off into the sunset. Good warrior. Hasn't had a lot of success over here, has he? Because he got injured against Terry Flanagan in 2 rounds. That was way back. Was that 2015 or something? Something like that. Yeah, I think it's got to be nearly 10 years ago, about 9-10 years ago. But yeah, one door closes, another opens, and all the rest of it. The old must make way for the new, and the new in this case is Dalton Smith. So for Smith, onwards and upwards. He's 27 now, so he's probably coming into his physical prime, and he's got his best years ahead of him, one would think. Eddie Hearn said they've extended the contract with Dalton Smith, so they're going to take him to the world title. We shall see. But yeah, what do you think of the fight? Let me know. Comments below, of course, as always. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button. Not a bad evening's boxing, really, was it? Let's be honest. Not a bad evening's boxing at all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care. Bye for now.